right, and of course, I am with Mompoloki Makwana with me on studio, empowering your vision on RB2, your station of choice. Hi, Mompoloki, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing so well, Zandile. How are you doing?
I don't know. Hi,
Oh, okay. I'm very fine. I am very, very fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's just get to today. We're not alone.
No, you're not, are you?
No, I mean, no. Anyway, let's just get straight to it, Mompoloki. What are we talking about today?
All right. It's a new year, and we're already going into the month of February. And you will realize that most of the time, how batho ka bontsi ba ne ba na le digolo tsa bone ba setse ba lapile ke go di dira kana ba se ba ithobogile ka tsone. People lose up so easily because of the momentum. Maybe they are not able to gain because of the things they thought they would achieve, and they are not making that progress, and they give up. So today we are talking about creating a sense of agency, creating a sense of agency to get things done. How do we create that fire that keeps us to get things done even when we don't feel like it? So that is the topic for today, and you'll realize that this topic, most people do talk about it a lot when in business organizations and creating employees, people to adopt the new strategies, so that is what we are talking about today.
Hi, Tato.
How are you, Sean?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm really, really excited to be back and part of this beautiful thing that you guys do in the mornings.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait.
Yes.
Can't wait for what?
They'll hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A thought of the day today that we have it's from Brendan Bouchard. You can see Zandilo Tayabara home.
Okay. You must remember that you are not the sum of our intentions, but of our actions. You must remember that we are not the sum of our intentions, but of our actions.
And then we have another one from Jim Rohn who said, without a sense of agency, desire loses its value. Without a sense of agency, desire loses its value. Jim Rohn talked about this when he talked about the principle of marginal, diminishing intent. He said, when we have an idea in January that this is what I am going to do, this is something that I'm going to do, when we keep talking about it, when we keep just sharing about it, business, without taking action, that desire to do that activity diminishes over time. That when we keep saying and not implementing, the desire to act on that idea we have, it diminishes over time. Sean.
Yes, no, it's very, very true. I like how you speak of Jim, how you reference Jim Rohn's need for urgency. Because it ties in with the general perception and belief that an actual goal is a dream with a deadline.
Yep.
You have to have measurable objectives that you are going to perform over a specific time period, so that you can actually say that you have achieved or planned or something that you can rate, in which something that you can use to rate in the way in which you're moving towards achieving your greater vision,
The progress.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I think that's a very important thing that you highlighted there.
All right.
Yeah.
There is a point of number one that we want to talk about today is create the fire to change, a compelling vision or pain points. Create the fire to change by choosing to mold a compelling vision or identifying your pain points. We realize that people normally, they don't have that burning desire. When we look at human beings, the way we were designed and the mind, the way it operates, is that we have this mind which is always trying to protect us from pain, which is always trying to protect us from disappointments. So most people normally, they don't take action because they are not aware or they are not sure of the results they are going to create. And therefore, the desire now to take action diminishes over time. But point number one today, we are saying you should create that burning desire to make a change, or create that burning desire to transform your life. how can we do that? I said, maybe we can have a compelling vision, something we look up to and say, I want to have this at June. I want in the next 4 years to have this kind of setup, this kind of structure in my business. Or sometimes we know that when do people show normally focus or use Zandile? When do people normally focus on saying, I want to lose weight? The moment when they see that they have gained a lot.
Yes.
When do people start to say, I want to be in a relationship? I want to mend my relationship. The moment when the relationship is about to break up.
Yeah.
So that's when people start saying, oh man, I want to really buy her flowers. I want to show up at home. I want to be there on weekends. When they see that the relationship is about to go somewhere else, when they see that the job, they're about to lose a job, when they are going around, notice, that's when people start to look up to job and worry. So let's talk about that, creating that environment where you are creating that pain point before the pain point comes, so that you constantly become better in your field.
Yeah. I think one of the more enlightening quotes that I've come across was one by C.G. Jung that said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the dark conscious. This is in a way, it kind of speaks to understanding that there shall be no coming to consciousness without pain. You have to do a lot to fight the darkness within yourself and making it aware. You can't create light. You can't become enlightened by imagining the figures of light, but rather you have to make the dark that surrounds you conscious, which means you have to put in the work to change the situation and circumstance you currently face or find yourself in. So this must be driven by intentional thought. I know Mr. Makwana talks a lot about thought with intention, and that is a very, very powerful thing. Realizing that you can create and manifest the world that you want to be your reality right from the concept of thought is a very, very important aspect to never forget. So I always wish that you follow yourself into the corridors of follow thyself into the corridors of your inner self and prepare the ground for that which needs to come. Yeah.
So ultimately, we create that burning desire to take action, that burning desire to be in a position where we are not just talking about it, but we are intentionally becoming it. And I like that what we have to activate that darkness within us. There's the gentleman who wrote a book of the underdog mentality, that most people stop taking action when they feel like they have arrived, when they feel like I'm already in the game, and they are no longer intentional in creating impressive results because they are not 10 years experience mo tirong ke veteran bana ha ba tsena no house ba ta go ira sepe because wena kana you already know about the job. So mostly people now realize that now young people who are coming up, they are educated, they keep on self-learning, they are continuously getting better. So the next time how the promotion with her more officing, they are the one that are in competition for that position because you were not intentional in taking action to learn, in taking action to get better. There are two ways. It's either you are growing or you are dying. So creating a sense of urgency is understanding that there are people today who are just walking the corridors of life without that awareness that they are alive, without the awareness of the contribution they are making. So that is why we are saying create a pain point in your life that can push you to become the better person. For me to start being intentional in 2016 after finishing my school, when my girlfriend told me I am pregnant, I had already applied for more than 50 jobs. But that was not enough. Understanding that now we are going to have a daughter and I am not working, it changed the whole thing in me. Now I was operating from the pain point of I was told I really need money. It's no longer about me, because when it's about me, I can take a break.
I like how you talk about arriving at a pain point. There's a book that I've been currently reading of late. It's called Disrupt You by a very, very successful personal transformation specialist and person with a very intense history in terms of, disrupting industries and bringing about technological innovations and change. He's known as Jay Summit. Now, in this book, Disrupt You, Jay Summit talks about looking at yourself as an entity and disrupting the way in which you think, the way in which you arrive at conclusions, and building or creating businesses. And this book teaches you about, sparking a revolution inside of yourself that is consistently improving. Be a person that is adaptable in the world of today, because it takes a very interesting look at the world in which we live, and what it is becoming in terms of, the fourth industrial revolution that is coming. This is the new buzzword on the streets. And when you don't align yourself with these new things that are coming, you tend to fall behind. When you're talking about success, you must obviously want to learn about the stories of other successful people that have walked this journey that you're now on. So when you look at the stories of companies that were once super successful, like the photo company Kodak, where a Kodak moment was something that was special, and then you look at, they failed to realize the coming and importance of digital photography, and they lost that space. They lost their dominance. And Polaroid as well. They lost their market dominance, and they have, over the years, either completely shifted what they do in terms of business, or they've had to significantly align themselves. This is because they failed to plan for this new, or they failed to adapt with the changing world that they found themselves in. They had no desire to continue to be relevant. They hadn't found the spark that kept them going. And when you don't have that drive, when you don't have that focus, you lose sight of the vision. And ultimately what happens, you get swallowed up by others that are more. That's why I like Jay Summit. Summit is that he talks about disrupting the ideologies that have created the person that you have become, and creating a new version of yourself that will be able to compete in the new world that we're entering.
Exactly. They said yesterday's home run cannot win today's game. Let's look at the point of work on your marginal adjustments. Start before you are 100% ready. Work on marginal adjustments. That most of the time we are not aware of the change we can bring into our lives by taking action when we are not working on marginal improvements. I realized that around November last year, I was aware that in a new year, most people in our industry will be bringing something new that can add value to the clients. And those who are not going to be providing more value are going to be taken out of the business, like the example that you are just giving here, Sean. And when we started the program here, Celebrating Greatness, I heard at least 3 to 10 people who said, Kanamana, we were thinking of introducing that guy January, but we're not going to introduce it December. That most people, the lining of success and breakthroughs and becoming the best in your industry is not dependent on what you can do, but creating a sense of urgency in you to get things done now, so that by next week when people start, you already have mastered at least 4, 5, 10 steps. Most people want to start when it's complete. The story of iPhone is the story of not, perfect start. It's you building a platform, iPhone 1, iPhone 2, you are not perfecting it from the start. No, iPhone is complete. You are aware that you can always grow. So marginal improvements is what can you do today, what can you do tomorrow to improve in that field that you are working on. So you are creating a gap for yourself to be able to be in a position where you are not releasing only a final product. Most people are not creating a sense of urgency to do better in their relationships, in their jobs, in starting businesses, because they want to start when they are ready. The concept of start before you are 100% ready is the concept of inducing that sense of urgency.
I've always liked the concept of jump off the edge of a cliff, sink or swim, but take the dive anyway and figure it out as you go along. One of the most powerful statements I once heard was, at every opportunity when you are asked, I have an opportunity for you. Do you know someone that is able to do this? Be the person that is able to do that thing. Take that job and then go figure out how to do that thing. A lot of successful people have said they started simply by realizing that I knew I would never be ready, but I learned and figured out what I needed to learn. Jay Summit, because he's a disruptor, has worked in a lot of different industries. He's worked in the gaming industry. He's worked in the music and entertainment industry. He's worked in television of sorts in a roundabout way through his projects and the companies that he worked with, because he helps people or companies disrupt the way in which they work so that they can stay competitive and be more relevant.
Yeah.
And he helps other individuals. And this is a guy that I think maybe you've Mr. Makwana as well-traveled as you are, and I believe, Tato, you've possibly seen at airport terminals, you see that little map that tells you where everything is, what's happening, all that thing.
Yeah.
That thing began as a concept for a basic video gaming console.
Wow.
So this guy pivoted because when he first initially designed that system, the company that he had intended to work with didn't see value in it at the time. And he thought he was going to revolutionize the gaming industry in terms of pinball machines.
Yeah.
But that system didn't work. And on his way to another business trip in an airport, because he had undergone a process of self-disruption, he was able to find a solution for that creation of his and turned it around and plugged it into the airport terminal information transport management system, the first of its kind in its world. It went on to make him billions of dollars because it went everywhere very quickly. And this was from realizing that whenever an opportunity is there, you have to be able to adapt yourself. You have to be you are the significant factor that can change the situation that you're in. You can't change the situation. You can only change yourself and how you relate to it. So this is a very, very powerful thing that you talk about, and I like the fact of insisting on creating a spark to maintain that revolution, because it's the fire of passion that keeps us driven. Always.
It is that sense of understanding that we are not here forever.
Yes.
There is a time frame, and not knowing that time frame, I think, on its own, create that sense of urgency among the 1%ers. They are not waiting for time, to change. They're waiting for things to change. They're willing to push themselves to get things done. Create a circle of influence will make them really too. Create a circle of influence. Find other people who are growing, people who can push you to grow as well. And then the other one, if you want to increase your decision-making skills, do not just be caught in indecision where you are not sure of what steps to take, because that's when most people lose their time. Let's talk about when creating a circle of influence. How do you find other growing people? And from your point, what do you think is the importance of creating that sense of urgency by finding people who are growing and enabling you to become better?
Well, I think for me personally, the most important thing about creating a circle of influence is understanding that the journey to success in this modern day world is a networked approach. It is about building from the strengths of others where you might not shine, and understanding that to build a key team of successful players is the best way to achieve success. Like-minded individuals connected in the pursuit of a similar vision will ultimately achieve success. And this is where a successful leader will come in as a person that understands and masters the skill of delegation. This is where you will understand that this person is a super special graphics designer. I may be able to conceptualize it in words, the picture that I want them to create, but they take this verbal description and they create these phenomenal logos, all these. You understand that this is how you can use this person. You understand that this person is a people person. They connect. They have this ability to reach a level of synchronicity with people around them. You use that person as your public communications person, as your communicate. You understand, and you network and leverage these strengths to achieve this common goal. And this is the power of being able to create a circle of influence and tapping from it. And that's the world of the future. This is the world of the super networked, and that's where success will be found. That's where you really have to drive home at. That's what I've always felt.
True. It's when we understand what other people are doing and leveraging on the the successes that they are doing that creates that burning desire in us. Sometimes we are it's easy to come from as far as
Yeah.
and to think, oh, I'm doing well, my business is doing well. And when you get to Mahalape, you find that they do something different. They are doing the same industry, but they are killing it in another level because of a certain thing that they are doing. So now, when you go back to Malata, you are no longer sitting on the idea that I am the best of the best. You realize that there are other ways to expand and grow, even when you are the best. Yesterday, I was listening to Martini. She was presenting one of TED Talks of how to create a sense of urgency. She said, most successful companies are the one who needs to change more. People who are already at the top and people we are celebrating, they are the one that they need to grow as fast as possible as they can be. Because good is an enemy to great. When you think you are good at doing something, when you stop, when you take a day off, there are other people now who are not just standing. They are willing to continuously grow. And the next thing, you are out of the game. Because most people, when they get in that, I am good, I have been doing this for years, this is how we do things, that's when people are going to be taken off the business. Remember the CEO of Nokia, what he said, the speech when Nokia was closing in. He said, we did not do anything wrong, yet we were taken out of the market. They thought they are good. They thought we are dominating in the cell phone industry. But what happened is that other people kept on growing. And today is a different story.
I like how you take the Nokia example. That can also be mirrored with the Research in Motion BlackBerry devices example.
Yes.
They conceptualized the smartphone and came out ahead of the pack, even created one of the earliest rudimentary versions of mobile instant messaging through their BlackBerry Messenger.
True.
But still, they got a huge walloping from the rest of the world because they refused to do exactly what their company name was, be research in motion, continue to be adaptable, continue to grow and change with the times. The smarter companies, what they do is they take the young talent and they tap into understanding that this new generation of power drivers, the baby boomers cash flow and spending ability, although significantly larger than the Gen X, is at a different level. The Generation X is more willing to spend cash versus your baby boomers generation because they grew up in a different time. And the things that excite and interest these two individuals are totally different. So as a business person going into a world of the future, you need to understand these emerging trends. This is why in the first world, the more successful companies seek out young, brilliant minds to lead certain divisions and areas, especially in the creative scene.
All right. I think closing in is we have to create that burning desire to take action. There comes a point where we realize we are good, but going from an area of comfort and finding other people who are growing can put you in that spark to grow. You know, when we hang around people and the conversation is, my business did this, my business did this, along the way your subconscious tells you have to have a business because now you are expanded to that level of consciousness. So, Mompoloki Makwana, my number is 74776196, 74776196. Thank you so much.
All right, 5:57 on our station of shores. It's been good. It's been nice. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good time.
I don't know if I say bye or hi.
Come on, you are here.